This podcast is an RPPFM production.
The following episode contains some coarse language and descriptions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. And welcome back to I
Think
My
Fridge
is
Haunted!
Yeah, we didn't even plan that. That's pretty good.
We dovetailed.
Guys, we've got a special guest this episode.
We do. I'm so excited. It's our first guest.
Oh, well. And it's not Snowball the
Snowbell the
Furby.
Snowbell.
Even though it's here and it's staring right at our producer, Chris.
Snowbell the Furby tags along to our recording sessions now.
Yeah.
And now Snowbell has a new hat.
It is a tinfoil conspiracy hat.
Because we've just been talking about so many conspiracies. And I think maybe Snowbell doesn't want to be a government Furby anymore.
I don't know. Look at its dead eyes. It looks like Scott Morrison a little bit.
Oh, don't say that.
Yuck. Yuck. It's got the genital face.
I cannot stand ScoMo. We're not supposed to be political on this show.
Yeah, guys. Except when I do the government conspiracy episode.
That's the only time we get political.
Yes. Okay. Facts from the freezer.
Do you have one? I have one. I've got a good one. Because today...
Oh, yeah, theme.
We have a theme today.
We have a theme.
The theme is vampires.
Ooh.
And that has something to do with our special guest as well. So my fact from the freezer is that bats can eat up to 1,200 mosquitoes in 1 hour and can consume their body weight in insects every night, which helps to keep bug populations from getting out of control.
I had a heart attack because my fact is about bats too, and I'm like, this bitch has taken my fact. That's a good fact.
Thank you.
I love bats.
Bats are amazing.
I love them.
I love going, because obviously we live by the beach, and have you ever been down by the beach sort of just after sunset and you see all the little tiny bats?
Babies.
And they're crazy.
And they're just
like
so fast, and they
so
make
fast.
Their little noises. So when I lived in Sydney, there were flying foxes.
The big ones.
They're big as cats.
They're
and
huge.
They fly in like flocks, and it's nuts.
And they're noisy.
They're incredible.
Yeah, they're great.
Love them. Okay, my bat fact is vampire bats. I know it off by heart because Jackson, shout out to you, Jackson, has been drilling me to say this fact for weeks.
Oh, really?
Okay, vampire bats, they don't suck the blood of their victims. They slit it and then they lap up the blood.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, which is cute. Like a little, what you do when you go and get frozen yogurt, like...
Like, like if I've got yogurt and I'll put it on my finger and one of my rats will like go, nom, 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 nom.
Yeah. Yeah. My cat does that with cheese.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Shall we introduce our incredible guest?
Yes, let's do it. I'm so excited.
You do the honors.
Okay. So today we have someone who is quite well known on the Melbourne, shall we say, dark pin-up scene.
Yes, girl.
Shall we say? Please welcome Sky Medusa.
Woo! Thanks, guys. I'm really excited to break your guest virginity on the show.
Consider it broken.
Yeah, thanks
Blood
for having
everywhere.
me. Yummy.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I already know what you do, but tell the people.
The people that are listening. Okay. I'll take the dark pin-up scene and run with that. So yeah, I've been doing a bit of alternative modelling and acting and things for quite a few years now. And recently we have just started a YouTube channel called The Vampi Show.
Amazing.
So we're very on theme for the podcast.
Yep.
And yeah, essentially it is the story of Vampi and what she gets up to in her undead life.
So Vampi the Vampire.
Vampi the Vampire.
From Melbourne.
From Melbourne, yes. The Down Under Vampire. So, and it's just all the funny situation she gets into in the modern time. She goes on the vampire Tinder app and
that's cute.
All sorts of, I guess, modern things like that. It's just
I love it.
I like it.
Lots of eating of people and lots of...
She's quite kinky too.
Yeah, so the Vampi show is definitely aimed towards adult audiences. Growing up, obviously, I loved anything spooky, Addams Family, the monsters, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And now that I'm an adult and a massive horror fan, I was like, there's not really too much directed for us. So I was sort of just set out to make what I wanted to watch.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
Not safe for work.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh, God. I have like top 100.
Give us the top 10.
Vampire?
Five.
No, it doesn't have to be vampires.
Oh, you've put me on the spot. Okay. Well, if it was a vampire, we'll do vampire films because otherwise it's like what
theme.
genre,
Yeah.
like slashers.
What do you prefer when you're like of the horror genre? Do you like slashers or do you like paranormal?
I'm just like a horror whore. I will watch anything, but I do like the aspect of the supernatural.
Awesome.
Love slashers as well, but when I'm watching a guy with a gun or a knife, I'm like, oh, I could run away. Whereas if it's like an exorcism or I'm not religious, but I'm still like, oh God, like it adds that extra fear factor of like,
exactly.
How do you fight a ghost? You don't.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
But so what do you have a favorite?
Yes and no. I have probably like a favorite of each genre. My favorite vampire movie changes all the time. At the moment, I'm really into Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Awesome.
It's just like the costumes are amazing.
Oh yeah,
the atmosphere's amazing.
Yeah,
I want to live in that movie.
Yeah. It's Winona. It's Gary.
Yeah, it's got everything. Creatures, bestiality.
Yeah.
Lesbian scenes.
Did you say bestiality?
Yes.
I thought you said Christianity, and I'm like,
no, not.
I don't know which one's worse, Christianity or bestiality. Gore. I'm a big Gore fan.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big Gore fan. I'm probably a Freddy fan.
Okay.
I love Michael. I love Jason. I love all of them. But I do like my husband's the Jason man and I'm the Freddy girl. So I like to like grind his gears a bit and we have little arguments. I'm like, Jason's just a mummy's boy. And,
oh my God.
He's just slow and he's like, oh, well, Freddy touches up kids. And I'm like,
Jesus.
he doesn't. And, we have like these little arguments. So yeah.
I love that.
And I saw on your last episode, you actually interviewed a wildlife expert about bats.
Yes.
I loved that.
We're really in sync today. Yeah. So, I volunteer at the Fly By Night Bat Rescue Clinic.
Aww.
And who girls? I
who
absolutely
better
love bats.
Who better to look after bats than a vampire? Because
exactly.
It's a nighttime job.
It is. It is a little bit awkward. I feel like bats get a bad rap, and a lot of that has to do with
Definitely.
vampire movies.
Well, it's the same with black cats. It's the same with rats. Like, get down to it. They're beautiful little cuties. There's nothing wrong with them.
Exactly.
Same with foxes. Oh, I could go on.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
All animals are good. That's why I only eat humans. So.
Yes. Same, actually.
All right. Well, shall we get on with our story?
Yes, I'm excited.
All right. I'm going to start off today.
Okay, go.
And I like the historical stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I'm going to do a historical one. Yay. So I am going to tell you the story of Yuri Grando.
Okay.
The first recorded vampire in history.
Ooh, I know this one.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
I think I know. Can I guess? Can I do a guess? Starts in a cemetery.
It involves
There's a tombstone. Like an actual one of those tomb buildings. Which people back in the day.
Oh, you mean a?
What are those? They're like a grave, but they're a little house. This will be housekeeping for next week.
What are they
That's
called?
like my house.
Mausoleum. Coliseum.
Mausoleum.
We got there.
Thank you, Chris, our producer, frantically writing down the word that we can't read.
Okay.
All right, let's
This
party.
story takes place in a region of Europe called Istria,
Exotic.
in what is now Croatia.
Oh.
The village we are going to is Kringa. In modern day, we are only looking at a population of 315 people in Kringa.
Oh, pause.
My father is from Kringa.
What?
Get out.
Okay, our producer is the vampire in this story.
Well, you went Istria, I went, huh? And then you went Kringa.
So our producer,
I have to go now because I am speechless.
her
Sorry,
father
you're going to have to do
is
the rest
from
of the show.
Kringa.
Wow, what are the odds?
She's freaking out. She's
I'm
left the room.
freaking out. You could be a descendant of Ure Grando.
Look, okay, last week I studied criminology. Last week we found out that Chris, our producer, already has a criminology degree.
I thought
and
you were
now
gonna
we
say
find
criminal
out
record
she's
then.
probably related to the first vampire.
Now
Oh
she's
my
in
God.
This story. God damn.
I'm losing it. Our producer is amazing.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my God. I'm just, she's the tits.
Well, my dad was from Frankston, so that's not very close.
Oh man. Okay. So, modern day Kringa has only 350 people, 315 people that live there. So this would have been a really small place to live back in the 17th century.
Yeah.
Ure Grando was a villager of Kringa, and he had a wife called Ivana and two children, Anna and Nicola. Ure dies at quite an old age for the time, at 77. The year is 1656. He was buried at the local cemetery by Father Giorgio.
In a what?
A mausoleum.
Mausoleum. I don't think it actually was a mausoleum. According to this story, he was buried.
I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. As soon as you said Europe, I'm like, yeah, that's me gone.
Okay, the legend goes that he would be seen by the local townspeople at night following his death. He would allegedly rise from his grave and walk through the town. He would choose a door and knock on it. Within 3 days, an occupant of that house would die.
Oh, God, can you imagine? I'm a housekeeper and I knock on about 30 doors a day. Can you imagine? That would be a pretty nifty serial killer.
What's your MO? I just knocked your doors.
Yeah,
I just like to clean up.
flush. Screw you.
And I've just written a little note to myself, dubious considering the population of the town. So apparently he would knock on all these doors and then within 3 days someone would die. So apparently he did this for years and years and years. So I don't know.
so-
I have my doubts.
Okay, yes.
Ivana, the wife, also claimed to see her deceased husband. He would regularly visit her at her bedroom window with a creepy smile on his face while appearing to be gasping for breath.
Yuck.
That's hot.
I've seen so many men do that just on the street.
Some versions of the story claim that he would sexually assault his wife.
Oh, what a creep. This
Yeah.
guy sucks.
As we like to say, this guy.
This guy.
This guy. The townspeople and Father Giorgio prayed relentlessly for Ure to cease his torment of the village. After 16 years, the people asked Father Giorgio to do something about it.
Was there anyone left after 16 years?
This is what my question is. I am highly suspicious of this story.
Population of 2 left.
Maybe that's
It's
why
just
there's
Father
only...
Giorgio freaking out.
Oh my God. Please.
So they had decided that he was what was known as a strigoi,
Ooh, good pronunciation.
also known as a strigon or a strigoon.
Ooh.
Now, if you've seen the TV show The Strain, which I'm a big fan of, it's kind of a lesser known vampire show.
Have you seen it?
It's
Yeah.
rad.
Me neither.
So you'd be familiar with this term if you've seen The Strain. So The Strain is, it's got, I'll tell you who it's got in it. It's got the guy that played Walder Frey in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. He was also in the Harry Potter movies.
Which one did he play in Harry Potter?
The housekeeper with the creepy cat, the scruffy cat.
Oh, Filch.
Mr. Filch.
I love Filch.
So he's in it. He's like this professor, and he's like 200 years old, and he's been trying to catch these strigoi since the 17th century.
So like the rabid vampires, like.
Well, actually, they're kind of alien. Like, they have,
okay.
like, this big thing that comes out of their throat, and it kind of, like, opens up like a flower, and it kind of
sometimes have
latches
big
onto
things
you.
coming out of my throat.
Oh, honey.
Anyway, The Strain. If you can find it, it's worth a watch. I really like it. I really like it. Anyway, so Father Giorgio, he was praying one night when Jure Grando appeared before him. The priest held up a crucifix and ordered him to stop his reign of terror in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
Jure appeared to be affected by the crucifix and was driven back to the cemetery. The mayor gathered together 9 men to track down Jure. They dug up his grave to find a perfectly preserved body with colour in its cheeks and that creepy smile on its face.
Ooh.
One story I read stated that the men were so afraid they ran away and returned later.
I'm just imagining them like, you do it. No, you go in.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, come on, boys, let's go.
I'll just stay and watch guard.
Yeah. I got a voicemail. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
One of the men repeatedly tried to stab Jure in the stomach with a wooden
In the
stick.
stomach.
Well, I mean, it was the first vampire, so maybe they hadn't read the books yet.
Yeah, but if you're killing someone, you wouldn't aim for their stomach. You'd aim for their chest. Or like...
Or their head.
Yeah, like, let's go for their bowels.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is kind of dumb, isn't it?
It is dumb.
There was only 7 of them left, so...
So he tried to stab him in the stomach with a wooden stick, but the flesh was hard and the stick kept bouncing back.
Oh, mate.
Finally, one of the other men cut Jure's head off with an axe.
There we
That'll
go.
do it.
In some stories, they say it was a saw, and
Oh.
some stories they say it was an axe.
Okay.
This-
2 very different things, but you know.
They cut his head off.
Yes.
His head was off.
This caused Jure to scream, and blood gushed from his body, filling the coffin.
Ooh,
That sounds so hot.
that is...
Sorry.
I love it.
That's
we have you
Vampi's
here
bath
every
time,
week?
just there.
Yeah,
It's right
I know.
there. They filled the grave, and Jure Grando no longer terrorized the village of Kringa. In 1689, an extensive encyclopedia was published called The Glory of the Duchy of Carniola. Carniola.
Chris, how is it pronounced?
She's just making shit up now.
Written by scientist Johann Weichard von Valvassor.
Damn, there's a lot of V's in that name.
It's quite cool. The book covered the history, geography, medicine, theology, and folklore of the region. Through interviews and word of mouth, he was the first author to document the legend of Jure Grando. Just some interesting further points on the concept of the strigoi. Mm-hmm. The name has Latin roots which relate to owls and also to, you'll like this, blood parasites.
Oh, I love parasites, in case you didn't know.
That's cute.
The Venetian word striga also means witch.
So owl, blood parasite, witch.
Yeah.
That's
Vampire.
sick.
Kind of, yeah, it kind of all
That's actually
sort of makes
really
sense.
cool.
Like owls, nighttime,
Oh, I love
you know,
blood sucking and
observing people while they sleep, that kind of thing.
I love that.
It's cool.
I love that's new burlesque name.
Owls that sexually assault people.
Yes.
Don't know where that part came in.
Yes.
But
So in French, the word, and I'll spell it, Strye, strige, relates to a bird woman who sucks the blood of children.
Wow.
In Romanian, the word literally means one risen from the grave, apparently.
I like this.
In the 19th century, a book called... Oh, my God.
Here we go, Gemma. Deep breath.
Datinile Poporulae
Ooh,
Roman la in Morm Antari.
that's pretty good.
I feel like you probably said it wrong, but it sounded really hot, so it doesn't matter.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
As soon as you rolled your
Rolling
R,
off the
I was
tongue.
like,
Yeah.
So this book, which I'm not going to say again, was published, which surmised that a man could become a strigoi if he, A, was the 7th child of the same sex, B, leads a life of sin,
Awkward.
C, dies without being married,
oof.
that sucks, D, dies by execution for perjury, E, dies by suicide, or
Ooh.
F, dies from a witch's curse.
Wait, so it's either any of them or all of
So-
them all together? Like you
no,
have
no,
to
no.
tick all those boxes.
No, you don't have to tick them all. No, it's just like, say, if you live a life of sin, you might come back as a strigoi, or if you have a witch's curse put on you, you might come back as a, you know.
Random.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here is a method used by the Romanians to get rid of a strigoi. 1. Exhume the strigoi.
It's
2. Remove its heart and cut it in 2. 3. Drive a nail into its forehead. 4. Put garlic under its tongue.
Ooh.
Yum.
5. Smear the body with fat from a pig killed on the 17th of October
What? Random.
Why?
because it's Saint Ignatius Day.
So too bad if there's a vampire and it's like June.
Yeah, or it's the October 18th.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to wait.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
Damn
wait.
it, he'll kill like 30 people in that time.
What number are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn it face down in the coffin, so if it wakes, it will be facing the direction of the afterlife.
Oh,
Oh, I don't
That's
have any more writing.
confusing.
I love how if it woke up, it'd be like, wow, where am I?
This
Whoa,
dark side of the
what?
box looks completely different to the other side, dark side of the box.
I couldn't possibly turn myself around. And that is the story of Yure Grando, the first recorded vampire.
Ooh. Oh, that
I
was
like
a
it.
weird sound I made.
Strigoi!
Yes, yes. It
Garlic
explains
under
me
your
that
tongue.
I'm actually allergic to the sun and I'm allergic to silver.
Uh-huh.
Fact.
Isn't that more of a werewolf thing?
No, it's silver isn't silver with
Sky,
vampires.
please explain to us.
We look at our vampire.
Yeah, well, it's different in every book,
Lore.
every law,
Yeah.
Silver bullets are werewolves.
Okay.
Some silver stakes exist, and then some people believe that it has to be a wooden stake.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, is silver brought up in Buffy?
Oh,
And then if we do like the Anne Rice rule, you wouldn't be
Yes.
fast enough to stake a vampire anyway, unless you were a vampire. So
I love Anne Rice.
Yeah, because in Anne Rice, they usually get decapitated,
They're
don't they? Or
badass.
burned.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, some vampires are like pussies. It's like, oh, here's a cross, and they're like,
So
Yeah.
if you
Or-
when you watch Twilight, were you like wanting to kill yourself?
look, I'll say this: Twilight, I think, is like a good romance film if you're about 13 years old.
Yes.
But they probably shouldn't have advertised it as like a vampire horror.
Yes. Oh
drama.
God, they advertised it as a horror movie.
Yeah, or I think they tried to go down that avenue with
Yuck.
it. Yeah.
America.
Terrible.
Kristen Stewart. You know, Robert Pattinson apparently stinks in real life. Like he doesn't shower.
Wow.
Yeah, he.
Now that you
actually
say that, he
stinks.
kind of looks like that kind of
Yeah,
guy.
once you hear that, you're like, "Huh." But no, he doesn't. Apparently, he doesn't shower.
No wonder she's a lesbian.
No. And we're back.
We're so back.
We're
From the dead.
We never left.
Yeah, we did. Okay, guys, hold on to your underwear. No, actually, no, don't hold on. This is not a sexy story, so hold on to your
Weapon?
yes, your blood smoothies.
I have a 4-pen.
Yeah, she has a 4
That'll
pen.
do.
That's my clue. Blood smoothie.
Ew.
Yum.
Yes, very mixed emotions. I am covering the story of the vampire of Sacramento, Richard Chase. Does it ring anyone's bells?
I have heard of the story, but I would not say that I know the ins and outs of it.
This is gross.
Do you know about this one, Sky?
I have heard of this one,
Yeah,
but I'm
okay.
keen to listen.
Cool. Okay. All right. Shock
Quite
me.
No
gross.
spoilers.
Okay, here we go. So Richard Chase was born in Santa Clara, California on May 23rd, 1950, and was a weird kid from the get-go. By the age of 10, he was already displaying signs of the famous McDonald triad of wetting the bed, setting things on fire, and animal cruelty.
We know where this is going.
Yes.
Yes.
They've also, I think, added a fourth one, and that
Really?
is if you're a boy and very early on your mother dresses you as a girl and like fully pretends that you're a girl and like addresses you like a girl. A lot of serial killers have had like their mother.
Henry Lee Lucas.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yes.
I
That's
think
awkward.
potentially John Wayne Gacy.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Their mums have like dressed them up and changed their names and...
I'm worried now. My uncle was dressed in girls' clothes for like the first 2 years of his life because they
What?
thought he was the ultrasound they were like, it's a girl, so
Oh my God.
pink everything.
Oh my God.
Hang on. So his parents kind of got used to the idea of having a girl.
Well, yeah. So
Well, they just didn't have any like traditionally blue.
Well,
clothes
everyone
and
thought it was a
stuff.
girl. They found out the gender and they were told it's a girl.
What?
And then
You mean the doctor didn't
yeah.
know what a penis was?
Oh,
Well,
my cousin's doctor got it wrong.
Yeah.
She thought she was having a girl, and then at the last second, they were like, oh, it's a boy.
Maybe the
Surprise!
penis like pops out last.
Yeah, because they're internal, aren't they? I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
So they got it wrong.
They got it wrong, and
But
yeah,
that doesn't
so
explain why the parents...
Is your uncle weird?
yeah, but I don't think he's a serial killer.
I think there's a lot of weird uncles.
You've got a weird
I've
uncle.
got a weird. Oh, I've got a bad weird uncle.
Yeah.
He's a murderer. So yeah, he is weird.
Okay.
I've got a weird uncle. He lives in Thailand.
Oh really?
No, I've got a couple of weird uncles. Yeah, everyone's got a weird uncle.
Weird
it's
uncle.
a thing.
It's a
You
thing.
have to have it. Yeah.
The weird uncle.
I don't think he was old enough to know he was in like frilly pink though, so maybe he just got away with that.
Wow, I wonder like at what point they kind of thought, right, we're going to put some shorts on you and
He was the fourth born, so I think it was just like, we
Oh,
already have this
secondhand.
stuff, so
Oh,
this is
right.
what you're wearing.
yeah,
yeah.
right.
yeah. Okay. But like Henry Lee Lucas, like his mother would literally send him to school in a dress, and he would
Yes.
she would curl his hair.
Yeah, there's a few others.
Like I guess to
terrible at
humiliate him,
remembering.
I suppose.
Yeah, it's like a weird mum thing.
Yeah.
As Richard grew older, he started developing hypochondria, regularly complaining about his heart, which would stop beating, or that someone stole his pulmonary artery.
Stole it.
Yeah. So bad signs for a kid to be saying that your heart
Poor
stopped
thing.
and people are... Yeah, exactly. And people are stealing your body parts. He'd regularly hold oranges against his head because he thought that he could absorb vitamin C into his brain via diffusion. So he was showing some kind of worrying signs that if your kid was doing this stuff, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to take you to the doctor.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep an eye on that.
Yeah. He also thought that his cranial bones had separated and were moving around his body, so he shaved his head so he could watch them moving around.
Okay, so
Wow.
that's the point for me. What I'm thinking, right? This
Yeah.
kid has some.
It's not like a cute kid being like oranges.
issues.
But we later find out
Yeah.
that his mum is just a moron.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, but I blame a lot of this on her. She could have come in earlier and prevented what he's about to do because
And
he's
with-
one of the worst serial killers I've heard.
So he was born in 1950. So
Yeah.
we're talking about the 50s.
Yes.
I'm wondering if maybe this was sort of a time when
Totally.
you didn't really want to admit that you had a
weird
child that
kid.
had
A problem kid, yeah.
problems.
Totally. After convincing himself that his mum was poisoning him, he moved into an apartment. Okay, so he's a little bit older, obviously.
Okay.
His roommates complained that he was constantly high and drunk, as well as almost constantly walking around naked, despite guests being there. He refused to change, so his roommates moved out, leaving Richard to catch and kill various animals, disemboweling them, then either eating them raw or the carcass, or mixing the raw organs with Coca-Cola into a blender and drinking, believing that in doing this, he was preventing his heart from shrinking.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
man.
we're really descending into actual insanity at this point.
Oh, he is... so there's psychopathy, and then... Come on, Chris, you're the criminologist. Psychopathy and...
Sociopathy?
Yeah.
Sociopathy?
I think that's... Yeah, so psychopathy is when... God, people are going to come after me. Psychopathy is like an actual condition where they still know that it's bad...
But they do it anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
whereas,
right. A sociopath is completely
they
separated.
completely out of
There's no
touch with
clue.
reality. Like, they are nuts. Completely insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix that in housekeeping next week, but from the top of my head, that I think that there's like a very big difference. Someone like Richard Chase, who is insane and doesn't realize what he's doing is different. And then someone like Ted Bundy, who's a psychopath.
Who's more of a manipulator.
Yeah, who knows how to manipulate, knows what he's doing is bad, so he's hiding it. Richard is literally like covering himself in blood and walking around an apartment, and that's him dealing with thinking that his body's mutating itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His skull
Does that
is
make
floating
sense?
around his body.
Yeah. So he's crazy. He's batshit crazy.
I mean, I know that this guy, you're going to tell me about this guy doing terrible things, but
We're sympathising at
I
the moment.
feel very sorry for him. Like,
Yeah.
this is a person that should have been put into care.
100%.
Not that there would have been great care around that time.
But
No.
still, any intervention...
Take him to a
Yeah.
psych ward. Like, when
Something.
someone is this from the get-go is already like eating raw animals and, you know, holding oranges to his head as a kid, and just intervene.
Yeah, all the
You know.
signs are there that something bad is going to happen. It's just a case of not if, but when.
Well, that's it. No one wanted to be around him.
Mm-hmm.
So he could get away with doing weird shit, and his mum was just... I think she just like turned the other cheek.
Do you know about his family life? Was there
No.
a dad? Was
I
there brothers
don't know
and
what happened to his
sisters?
dad. I don't think he had siblings, but from what I can get, it was just him and his mum.
Okay.
Yeah. He progressed to injecting rabbit's blood into his veins, but eventually was involuntarily committed to a psychiatric ward in 1973. Thank Christ.
Okay.
There, he got the nickname Dracula due to his obsession with consuming blood. He'd often be caught breaking the necks of birds he caught through the window of the ward, where he'd then drink their blood. He would also steal syringes from the nurses and extract blood from therapy dogs.
Jeez.
So he was obsessed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he just had like really bad iron levels
Well, that could be it.
mixed with insanity.
Yeah, they had two bad mixes. In 1976, Richard was soon diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, which I think we could all kind of see,
coming.
especially being off medication in his younger life. Like, Jesus, like, mate.
Mm-hmm.
And after being forced to follow a routine of medications, he was deemed no longer a threat to society, and in 1976 was released back to his mother's care.
So 3 years.
Yeah.
He'd been
On
okay.
meds, stabilizing.
So he's 26 now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Richard's mum started to wean him off his prescribed medication.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Stupid woman. And found him a new apartment. Things started to repeat itself again, and the roommates Richard began renting the flat with ended up leaving, resulting in Richard being left on his own. In
It's just that
1977,
at this point where it's a ticking time bomb.
it really, like, you can just see him going downhill. There's no good that could come out of the situation that he's in.
Mm.
It's horrible.
Okay.
It's horrible. In mid-1977, police sighted a naked Richard completely covered in blood dancing on the top of a hill in Pyramid Lake, Nevada. Oh my God. Now, that's like a famous... If you've heard the Richard Chase case, everyone knows him dancing on the top of a hill covered in blood.
I don't really know this case, to be honest.
It's pretty hardcore.
I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's weird. Not many people, they know the name, but they don't really know like the extent of it. He's an example of a serial killer that is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like You could compare him to like a rabid dog.
Wow.
Just done.
Mm-hmm.
They found his truck, which had a bucket of blood and a liver. They soon discovered that the liver was that of a cow's and no charges were made. So, I mean, what could they do in the 70s? The first known murder victim by Chase was that of Ambrose Griffin, a 51-year-old father of 2. He was shot in a drive-by shooting on the 29th of December, 1977, which I think is a really weird kill. Drive-by shooting.
Yeah. I would have thought he'd go for something more personal.
Yeah. I thought that was a really weird... But apparently a lot of killers start off by doing a shooting.
Because it's easy.
Like, test the waters.
Yeah.
Yep. I just hate people who shoot. Like, I hate people who murder, don't get me wrong, but I think shooting, like...
It's a bit of a cop-out.
I was going to say that.
It's a really weird one. I'm a bit weird about that. Like...
Yeah, like shooting someone, it's...
Just walking past, bang, and keep walking. Like, there's no process to that. There's no... He's not... In that example, he's not really a process killer or a product killer. He's just doing it just for the thrill of it. Yeah, I think it's real. I think it's a weird one. After this murder, he attempted to break into some houses, succeeding in one invasion where he urinated in the drawers of their baby's room, as well as taking a shit in the baby's cot.
The hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, he was chased away by the homeowners, but he literally broke in, went through all the stuff, peed in the baby's like clothing drawer, and then pooped on the bed.
So I'm thinking like, he's got issues with his parents. Yeah. First victim being like middle-aged man. Yeah. Father figure.
True.
Maybe.
Did he stalk this person first?
No.
Or did he just at random shoot somebody?
Random.
Right.
Yeah. Random. It's scary. On the 23rd of January, 1978, the real gory stuff started to happen. Richard broke into a home of Teresa Wallin, who was 3 months pregnant. He shot her, then raped her dead body, meanwhile stabbing her. He then pulled the fetus out and played with that. Oh my God. He cut off one of her nipples and drank her blood. He then went outside, found dog poo, and then returned to the body, stuffing the dog poo down her throat.
Okay. Why? Yeah. Okay.
It's just completely the murders themselves. Like, it went from a shooting.
Yeah, it's escalated quickly.
Such an escalation of such a horrendously gory...
Yeah, not just overkill
act.
of the body.
Yeah, it's complete overkill. It's like...
desecration of a body.
Yeah, and then the baby body, and then going outside... and finding dog poo and coming back and putting that inside the mother's throat. Yeah,
that shows what do you call it?
Just a lot of anger. There's just like a lot of...
You wouldn't say that would be a passionate kill. That would be very... What's the word? Premeditated.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's premeditated. I think it's more of...
It sounds
a
spontaneous.
process kill. Yeah, I think it was quite spontaneous. I literally think he just rocked into this woman's house.
He's just winging it.
Broke in, stormed her, stabbed her, and then just played with the body for hours.
That's insane.
And it wasn't like, for example, Dahmer, that was a product kill because he wanted the body. He wanted them to die as quick as and as painless as he could, so he could then play with the body.
Like Dennis Nilsson.
Jeffrey Dahmer, sorry.
Yeah. But like Dennis, like they would hang out with the body for like a week.
They didn't care how like Jeffrey said he didn't like killing.
Right.
He just wanted the body.
Didn't want them to leave.
Yeah, but with Richard Chase, the whole process is what he's loving.
Okay.
From raping, stabbing, then playing with the baby's body, then going out and continuing it by bringing dog poo in and putting it in the body, like.
So like instinctual, sort of like just doing what
he's
feels
just,
right at the time.
He's just at this point, he's just like crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
Oh, we've jumped off the cliff of sanity.
Yeah, he's
at this
done.
point.
He's out. Yeah. Okay. Only a few days later, on the 27th of January, Chase broke into a house of a 38-year-old Evelyn Miroth. As he entered the house, he ran into Danny Meredith, who he shot dead, stealing his wallet and car keys. He then shot Evelyn, shot her 6-year-old son, Jason, then David Ferreira, a 22-month-old nephew. After shooting the family, Richard mutilated Evelyn, raped her dead body, and ate some of her body parts, as well as drank her blood. During this, Richard heard knocking on the door, so he fled, taking the body of the 22-month-old and stole Danny's car, leaving perfect footprints and handprints all over the house in Evelyn's blood. So he's not thinking.
No.
There's no like...
How am I going to get away with this?
Like, he's leaving DNA everywhere. If you actually... I'll put the images on Instagram, but they are perfect footprints.
It sounds like he's in, like...
The brain of a child is just like...
Yeah, such a state of psychosis.
It is such a state... That's exactly right. It's such a state of psychosis that it's like almost routine. Like, it's like us cleaning up the house or moving things around our house.
I was going to say almost completely opposite, almost like a stream of consciousness set of events. Like, now I'm going to shoot you, now I'm going to shoot you, now I'm going to shoot you, now I'm going to steal this child. Now I'm going to steal the car, now I'm going to run down the street.
Yeah.
It's almost just let's just create as much chaos as we possibly can and then not even consider the consequences.
Yeah, there was no
people.
consideration or consequence. There was no plan to it. I mean, he's carrying a gun, so obviously there's like a part of him that knows he's going to go out and kill.
Mm-hmm.
But like his MO is so off. He goes from shooting to completely like stabbing to overkill, and then back to just shooting. And
it's odd, isn't it?
It's really weird. This guy, he's crazy. Richard made it back to his flat, where he took David's body to the bathroom. He cracked open the skull into the bath and ate some of the brain.
Oh my God.
He then cut off the boy's penis, where he then used it as a straw to suck up blood from the corpse.
Okay. Officially insane.
Yeah, yes. He then cut up sections of the boy's body where he blended them into a smoothie, later dumping the boy behind a church.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can see the images of the smoothie. His kitchen was literally, his house was covered in blood.
So he killed the family, stole the car, took the nephew,
took the kid who was already shot.
Yeah. Back to his house.
And
is that where police caught up with him?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Do you think it's like a blood fetish? Like he's getting some sort of sexual gratification
I think
from both victims?
He's been obsessed with blood
I think
since
it's
he was
more
little.
like he thinks he needs... Like,
I think he needs that he needs to continuously put blood in his body because he's still he's schizophrenic and he's a hypochondriac who is constantly like, I'm dying, I need blood, I need to replace blood in my body. He was still experiencing all the I'm missing body parts and so I think I read somewhere that he constantly needed to drink blood just because he thought that he was dying and he needed blood. I don't know if it was sexual.
Okay.
I mean, with the female victims, it would have been, but...
Well, yeah, he's raping the bodies, but like as far as the boy, I don't think he ever raped the kids.
No. I read an article this morning where, I don't know where it is in the world, but there is a new trend happening where people are choosing to have blood transfusions, and what they're putting into their body is, quotation marks, young blood.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As like to replenish your body with the blood of someone who is younger. So I'm wondering if he took the child, the younger of all of them, because he thought that the child's blood might be the more nutritious.
Potentially. I mean, when he ate the different parts of the women, it was from their breasts. Like maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
You never know. That reminds me of stem cell infusions, which is also derived from umbilical cords of babies, and it used to come from aborted babies too.
Right.
It's like this huge this craze of people wanting newborn or like super young.
Yep.
I mean, it worked for Elizabeth Bathory, so
exactly. That's where, and same with her and that Madame Lalaurie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes
Delphine
back.
Lalaurie.
Yeah, ages.
Yeah, people are having like blood facials now as well.
Yeah,
it's
man.
their own
Yes.
blood though, so it's not as weird.
Yeah.
It's not as...
So it's almost like this very deep-rooted psychological belief that, you know, blood is, or umbilical fluid is just this life-giving.
Yeah, it's pure,
fluid.
you know.
The blood is the life.
Yeah,
to
well,
quote
that's
Dracula.
I mean, it makes sense. To me, it makes sense. I know this is really hardcore of me to say, but like the purest blood would be a baby's blood or like a young kid's blood.
That's where ethics comes involved.
100%. Like ethically.
Just because it
I'm-
scientifically might make sense doesn't make it ethical.
No,
does
well,
it?
not at
Exactly.
100%. You know, like excreting the blood from aborted babies is horrendous and you know, but it happened in the early 2000s. Like, you know, I think it's been present throughout history. Practices like that.
Oh, when you go traveling, like, you know, when you go to Asia, you'll see at the chemists, like, there's this thing, lamb's umbilical fluid. It'll be like face creams, and there will be stacks of it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like,
Sheep's umbilical fluid.
yeah, gross.
Either
Yeah,
or, not
just-
something I want to be rubbing on my face.
Just get some
Aloe
in the
vera is
pu-
fine.
The,
Yeah, just
the
get some aloe
pursuit
vera,
of
guys.
beauty, people will go to quite extreme lengths.
yeah. People need to chill
They
out.
need to chill out.
Yep. So Richard was finally arrested, where the police literally found, like I said, the whole apartment was head to toe in blood. It stunk. The cutlery and the drawers were covered in old blood.
Oh my God.
Again, the blender full of blood. It was literally a horror scene.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It is sad because he was just so mentally ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was drunk and he was on drugs, and it was like, that is a proper example of unmedicated psychosis with no care.
He was completely let down.
Yeah, and I read that there was instances where Richard rocked up to his mother's doorstep with like the bodies of dead cats, where he would stand there and he'd bite into the cat in front of the mum, and she'd just shut the door and walk off.
She was like, yeah, not today.
Wow.
It's like, lady, you saw this before he started murdering people.
And it didn't occur to you.
And she just,
to...
he's eccentric. I don't know what she
Right.
said.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a troubled child.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like you said, she's a moron.
She's a moron.
Do you think maybe she had some psychological issues as well?
Potentially.
That's a good point.
Schizophrenia.
I mean, what sort of mum
runs
says,
in the
I'm
family.
going to take you off your meds?
Yeah. Oh, darling, I'm just
You
going
don't
to
need
wean
them.
you off your. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad lady. January 2nd, 1979, the trial saw that Richard Chase had murdered 6 people, and the jury decided to send him to die in the gas chamber at San Quentin. 1980, inmates were constantly pressuring Richard to kill himself purely because they hated being around him.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why was that? Does it say?
Oh, he'd be an absolute crazy person.
Oh God, can you imagine the stuff that
I mean,
he'd be getting up to?
Yeah, him living in his actual apartment. He was naked. He was, you know, imagine him in a jail
Probably
cell.
bodily fluids
Everywhere.
everywhere, all over this place.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have had him medicated.
He probably did weird stuff to them all the time. So he wasn't actually in a mental wing.
He was moved. He actually, after he went to jail at San Quentin, he was moved to a psychiatric ward, but then they moved him back to jail. They moved him back to San Quentin.
Was that probably after he got the death sentence? They were like, let's just chuck him in here.
I think he was copping so much hell from San Quentin that they quickly put him in the psych ward. But then for some reason they sent him back to San Quentin, where he then committed suicide in 1980, December 26.
How did he do it?
Yeah, how did he do it?
An overdose on medication. So there you go.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
medicated.
Do you think it was intended to be a suicide? Or do you think it was accidental?
No, I think he's committed suicide.
Okay.
I mean, my opinion, he was obviously on medication. So maybe he was starting to realize the extent of what he was doing when he was off meds, that he felt so horrendous about it, he committed suicide. You know what I mean?
It could be any number of reasons.
It could be anything. But my opinion is once he was medicated and he started realizing the extent of his crimes and what he was doing off medication and in the prime of his psychosis, maybe he just went, Jesus Christ, like, I'm a monster.
Either that, or maybe, you know, he started thinking his brain, his cranium was breaking up again. You never know. His skull was breaking up again, or maybe his heart was stopping, or maybe
it could have been anything. God, where the hell were the security while they were providing him medication? Like, you don't know if they would have been in on it. Like, you don't. It's like Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly.
Totally like Jeffrey Epstein.
Fell asleep.
Yeah, they fell asleep.
That's a whole other episode.
Oh, I'm gonna cover Jeffrey Epstein. If you guys want to know about Jeffrey Epstein, Wondery, the podcast, platform, they did the mysterious Jeffrey Epstein or whatever it is. Yes. It is incredible.
I think I've subscribed to it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
Listen to it. Wondery is where it's at.
Yeah, they do really good podcasts.
They do really, I'd recommend Dr. Death too.
Oh, yes. I've listened to part of that. I found it a little bit gross, so I didn't listen to
my
all
favorite.
of it.
We were just talking about like mutilating babies.
Yeah, this one's not. No, there's a hardcore. There's something hardcore that happens in Dr. Death. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but it was one podcast where I was driving and I like fully gagged when I heard what this doctor did.
Oh, really?
So completely recommend it for those who are like, yes, creepy stuff. Yeah, it's nuts. He's still alive too. So,
oh God.
Yikes. Anyway, guys, that's the story of the vampire of Sacramento.
That was nuts.
He's gross.
Yeah,
look him up. He's literally what you'd imagine him to look like too.
Oh my God.
Like a skull. Yeah, he's pretty gross.
Gives vampires a bad name.
It does. I'm sorry, honey.
I just want to add a disclaimer. So at the Vampi show, we don't condone the eating of babies. Or there's just not enough blood in them. So
I love her. Can we keep her?
You can come back.
We just need to like.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good little sound bite we can use later on.
Yeah.
Just isolate that. Put it in like. The show intro.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming along, Sky.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Where can people find you on the internet?
Promote yourself.
Yeah, the internet everywhere. So Instagram, Sky Medusa. Facebook, we have the Vampi Show.
And it's Sky SKYE.
Yes. Or you can just search the Vampi Show. VAMPI.
Yes.
And subscribe to the YouTube channel because we've got really cool stuff coming up.
Yay.
Awesome. Yeah. That's rad.
Do you have any like pin-up shows or anything, your upcoming gigs?
The Vampi Show is consuming my life right
Amazing.
now.
So all the online stuff, filming.
Everything. Yeah, we have the Vampi Show calendar coming out as well. That is something else I will pimp out.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll give you guys one. So all new photos, some sets you've seen before. We've got like some secret sets that no one's ever seen before that we'll be releasing. So,
awesome.
So that's something else exciting.
2020 is going to be your year.
It is the year of the vampire and
whatever we do.
My fridge is haunted.
The
year of the fridge.
Year of the Furby. No. Yikes.
All right. Guys. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next week.
People. Don't kill cats.
Don't kill people. Don't kill cats. And for God's sake, get your cat neutered.
Yes. And vaccinate your little brats.
Yeah.
I heartily agree. Bye.
Bye.
Story about drinking blood at a vet clinic, everyone, for a blooper.
Okay.
I used to be a vet nurse, and when I was finishing my in-house training stuff, what's it called when you go
induction?
placement. There's a certain routine you do where you extract blood, and then you have to, from the blood, you have to extract the plasma, and that goes into like a spinny thing and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, the head vet nurse was teaching me how to extract the blood from the actual vial.
Yeah.
And it's this tiny little glass tube, like super small.
And how did it get into your mouth?
She was curious.
Okay. So you got the big vial, then you've got this tiny little like glass thread tube, and you're meant to suck in just a tiny bit with your mouth. Not the blood in your mouth, right? You just go tiny little bit from the vial into the glass. You suck in a tiny bit, and then you're meant to blow it out into a slide, right?
Yeah, that seems a bit budget.
It is budget.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, don't you have like the little dropper things that like...
I don't know why we did it this way, but this is how it was done.
I feel like it was just like an initiation that make everyone do.
Maybe they just made you.
Yeah, they fired me in the end, so they were probably taking the piss.
Oh my
but
God.
then we're meant to blow the blood onto this tray. I just completely did the opposite, and I sucked the whole
too hard.
vial of blood up into my mouth.
And what was it? A cat's blood?
It was a dog. It was
dog.
like a cavalier, and I'm such a dork,
it's a
and I'm not
pedigree.
good with like handling like awkward situations, that I just started
did you
laughing, and
do?
I was like, and no one laughed. Everyone just stood there and the girls hated me there. They hated me there.
Yeah, it was probably their dog.
I think the client was in the other room, and I'm like trying to spit this blood out, and and then I lost my job about 2 weeks after.
At least you tried.
I tried so hard.
You tried too hard.
I tried too hard.
Bless your heart.
Kids, don't follow your dreams, because you'll fail.
Life is a shit sandwich. And every day
You take another bite until you die, right?
Another vial of dog blood.
Another vial of dog blood. Yeah. So look at me now. I'm a housekeeper and a stripper. So
and a podcaster.
And a podcast.
Everyone wants to be a podcaster.
Everyone wins.
Oh, and we're number one.
We're number one at our station.
RPPFM podcast.
Yeah, take that, cricket.
Boom.
And religion. I don't know the other podcasts.
Local
no
footy.
offense, I don't listen to them.
All right, I'm
Anyway.
fading us out. You don't have to say goodbye.